Hello, everyone. So let's get into this story right here. It says here non-binary people have hormone therapy and surgery more often than you might think. What? To look nondescript? They got warrants? What is this? Is it an unattractive woman non-binary? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? You're like, if you're just unattractive and female, you're non-binary. The authors say throughout this article, reference people's presumed gender at birth, which may seem ironic as we are talking about people whose gender identity was assumed incorrectly. Really? It was assumed incorrectly. Even though they go by evidence, you say they're making an assumption? It's not a guessing game, especially when they have the baby in the hospital. They're not just guessing. All right. We use this to define the unmet medical needs of non-binary people as they must fit into a binary medicalized system and as a way to make our comparisons easier for readers to understand. Listen, your personal opinion about yourself has nothing to do with medicine, all right? You don't have to fit into the system or whatever the hell. You could believe whatever you want, but when something is actually wrong with you, people need to know what's real, not what you believe, right? So they can save your life. Like literally, they have no interest in whatever you believe. If you don't want them to help you, you don't have to get help. You can go off in your non-binary hospitals or whatever the hell and get treatment there. Because of this lack of awareness, non-binary people often face greater rates of discrimination. Listen, if you go out of your way to stand out, people are going to have an issue with you because people don't like their attention to be monopolized by bullshit. All right? If you, for instance, was a man or a woman, there's plenty of those, no one notices. But if you walk around looking like either one and you're saying you're neither, then you're just drawing attention to yourself. You could have just gone about your business and no one would pay attention. You would face no discrimination. Like, unless you're facing discrimination for being ugly and ugly people that don't have your identity disorder face the same exact discrimination. Or maybe you're facing discrimination for dressing like a weirdo. And guess what? Uh, Other weirdos are going to face the exact same type of discrimination and they don't identify as nonsense. All right? You can't identify as nothing. That doesn't make any sense. Like, that's not discrimination to say that you being nothing or neither is not a thing. It's not a thing. On this trans, on this transit, you can't transition to nothing. That would assume that you were something before and then you became something else. You're not part of the trans. You're just confused to the point where you're like, you don't even want to choose. You don't even want to choose because you want to somehow have the benefits of both, but none of the consequences of either. Like it's nonsense to the point where people aren't even confused about what you believe you are. People just don't want to deal with it. It's like it's not even one of those things where you could even get upset at someone for being non-binary. You're just like, really? You're doing this? Like, why? Like, I don't have time for this. Like, what do you expect me to do? Just drop all expectations of you, drop any sort of judgment of you. Uh, Why don't you just not exist in my life and in my sphere, and then you'll get what you want. Like I wouldn't have any expectations, I wouldn't have any judgments. You just just go away. It's just it's pointless. Like no, I don't think anyone can drum up the energy to really care anymore. On this trans day of visibility, oh my God. How do people that want to avoid discrimination just love attention so much? They just love attention so goddamn much. Like there's so little of you in the world, and you want more attention than people that outnumber you. It's crazy. It's important to spotlight why. Why? There are many non-binary staff in the teams. At, so what? The trans are getting more attention than you, and now you're mad. What does non-binary mean? Non-binary is a broad umbrella term for people who have a gender that does not fit exclusively exclusively into the women/man gender binary. So it's nothing. Under this umbrella, some people use more specific gender labels to describe their gender experience. I don't have a gender experience. I just am. Like I don't understand what you're talking about. You could just exist and just do whatever you want, and it doesn't matter what people label you because it's going to be based on what you're doing. And if it's not, then it's nonsense, and you don't have to pay attention to it anyways. Like I've been male my entire life. I'm a man, and I've never felt the need to prove it. I've never felt the need to constantly have to refer to it. It's just like it's very specific situations where it comes up. If I have to interact with other people, it, like if I have to if I'm like in a playground or whatever, and there's a bunch of kids around. Being a man is I'm very aware of that fact. People are gonna think that I'm a perv or something, right? So I have to like make sure that I either avoid those places or I'm there with the kids or with other people. All right. And if I'm in a situation where I'm interacting with a woman, I have to be very conscious of the fact that just by being a man, I'm a threat, right? So they're gonna react like I'm a threat. So I have to be aware of that. Otherwise, I'm just living my life. And those situations, they don't go away because you identify as something else. Like even gay men still have to face those exact same things. Like it's you're not like my point is you're not solving a problem by recategorizing yourself. Your life experience is going to be exactly the same. You're just adding extra complications. And now you're like you create something for people to have a problem with when they could have just had a problem with you because you're an asshole. About 2% to 4% of the population is non-binary. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right at all. How you get those numbers? Within the Australian Trans and Gender Diverse Community Survey. Okay, so Australian. Yeah, Australians do some weird stuff with the whole gender debate. They really embracing the feminism over there. Like Australia's population as a whole, non-binary people are highly diverse. Ah, Homie, caterpillars are more diverse than non-binary people. Hey, are you serious? Do you mean they're diverse in the fact that people are diverse? Are they people? Is that what you're saying? Like, surprise, non-binary people are people. Although the Australian government has recognized non-binary gender, it's not a gender. It's literally nothing. Like, I can't with this. Why do myths about not? What myths? They're nothing. Oh my God. All right, I'm done. I'm done. It's too ridiculous. Until next time.